She's so cute. I love her. I love you. I love you. Hi, welcome or welcome back to another video. My name is Charlotte and today we're wrapping up February. We're done with it. We're going to go through all of the books that I have read in this month, and I've read a lot for me. I did not think that I was going to read this much because I've been in a lot of pain, and apparently, that's my jam. That's when I read because I can't sleep. I know, it's a fun combination. Yeah, we're gonna go through all of them, and I'm gonna tell you what I think about them and give them a rating. And it might not match the rating that I have on my Goodreads, but I usually give that like straight after I read the book, and then I go back after I've done the wrap up and check that it actually matches what I think when I've let the book sit for a little while, because I have a tendency to score them higher if I'm happy that the book is done, and that's not a good thing. Before we jump into the books, I just have to show you guys what my friend made me for my birthday. I got it yesterday. It's Sandana. See, you see the little gold specs and stuff? Oh my god, she is so cute and I love her so much. My friend was like, oh yeah, you're a Fourth Wing fan now, which, spoiler alert, I'm a Fourth Wing fan now. She's like, oh, maybe I'll make you Terra next. And I was like, yeah, I know exactly where I'm going to put them. I know exactly where these are going to live. So in February, I read 9 books, and that's a lot for me. Getting through 9 books, well, it technically is 8 books in one DNF, so 8 books, getting through 8 books is still a lot for me, okay? I don't usually read that much, so happy, but at the same time, I'm not really that happy that I read that much, because that only means that I've been sleeping. Not at all, because that's usually when I read the most, when I have pain spikes and I can't sleep. I can't get no sleep. That's also, spoiler alert for next month, how I ended up at like 1:30 in the morning going out to my bookshelf and starting God of Malice, which you can kind of see right there. Kevin is borrowing it right now. Kevin's still in bed. So the first book is Onyx Storm. Onyx Storm. I decided that I was going to read this book not because at that time I was not a Fourth Wing girly. I was not convinced that this was a series for me at all. But something kept on, going in my head, like, just give it one more book. Just one more book. If you do not like it after this book, you can kind of say that you're done with it, because the story was intriguing. And I'm talking like you already know what Fourth Wing is. So if you don't, I am so sorry. I am not going to go into the entire series right now. There's so many videos out there if you want to check it out. But yeah, I decided, I was like, I'm gonna read one more book. If I do not enjoy it, then at least I know that I've given it a fair shot. And then I opened the book and I raged like inside. I was like, breathe. They're just fictional characters. And then I didn't read for like 2 days. Well, I read something else. But I couldn't. Okay? Then I picked it back up again. And guys, when I say that this has like made me a Fourth Wing girly, I'm not exaggerating. I am planning in March to reread Fourth Wing because one of my friends have not read it yet, and I'm like, we're gonna do a buddy read. I'm gonna reread it, you're gonna read it, and that's it. And luckily she said yes, because I would be sad if she said no. This is the first book I started with. This one, I don't want to really get into it because I feel like if I tell you that much about the story, it kind of will spoil what will happen in the first 2 if you haven't read it. But if you have read them and you're wondering if you should pick it up, I highly recommend it, okay? I enjoyed Fourth Wing. I didn't enjoy Iron Flame that much, but I really, really enjoyed this one. It's a 4.5 for me. It's not really top tier at the moment, but I have a feeling that either I'm going to be very satisfied with my ranking when I am done rereading them all, or every book is like gonna go up. Every book is just gonna go whoop, But it feels like a 4.5. Sometimes when I am done reading a book, I get a feeling of happiness because I'm like, oh my god, thank god this is finally over. So I rate it higher than I think I should, because I think that feeling of happiness is for the book, if you get what I mean. The feeling of happiness is that I'm finally done with the book and I don't have to read it anymore, and I mistake that for me actually liking the book. So I usually give them a grade, and then at the end of the month I go through my Goodreads and I change it if I feel like I didn't give it a correct score. When I was on that one, I went into Better Than the Movies, which was the book club pick of the month. The book club is just in the Discord. The link is in the description if you want to join. New book. No, new month, new book. Oh, well, new book, new month. I don't. It was Better Than the Movies because a lot of us have never read it. It's a young adult contemporary. I am not big on young adult contemporary, so I was a little bit hesitant when this was the book that we decided to read. Very happy I did though. I adore this book. This book is very good. I like it. Like I enjoyed it. So this one is about Liz and Wes and I want to say Michael because he's kind of big in the plot. Michael used to live in the same on the same street as Liz and Wes when they were younger. He moved away, but now in high school he's back, and he's back like I don't know 3 weeks before prom, and Liz is like, "That's my man. I'm gonna go to prom with it." There's only one teeny tiny problem. He doesn't know it. He doesn't think of me that way. He doesn't, well, no prom material, but he just thinks of her as like little Liz, That's a little weird. The book says it, not me, but she is obsessed with rom-coms. That's like her favourite thing. She kind of treats her life like it's just a rom-com waiting to happen. So, what better way to actually make your own personal rom-com happen by recruiting the boy next door and getting him to help you land the man of your dreams. And of course, Wes is a 16-year-old boy, so he's like, or is he 18, 16? He's young. I don't know when you finish high school. I don't know. He's young. So he's like, yeah, I'll do it. But then I get the parking stop. I get the parking space forever because they fight about a parking space right outside the house because they're next door neighbors. And he's like, yeah, deal. If you get him to take me to prom, you get the park there forever and I have to walk, I don't know, from around the corner, wherever it is she walks from. And he's like, deal, let's do it. I adored it. It was fantastic. This is literally one of the better young adult contemporary books I've read as an adult. I recommend it. I enjoyed it, especially if you like rom-coms. I adore rom-coms. I like teen series, tween series, whatever you want to call it. I eat that shit up, okay? I love it. So this was kind of right up my alley. If you're not into the rom-com thing, if you're not into the kind of a little bit over dramatic teen thing, maybe not for you, but it might be perfect for, I don't know, a sister, a cousin, your next door neighbor. Yeah, I would say this is a 3.75. I really enjoyed this book, like really, really enjoyed this book. Can't really rate it higher though, because it doesn't feel like it's something I would ever reread. But I got a physical copy for my birthday just so that I could annotate it, and that kind of says everything, I feel. But it's a 3.75 just for that reason. I don't think I'm ever going to pick it up and actually reread it, but I do not have a problem recommending it to anyone I think will enjoy this type of book. If you watched my January wrap up, you probably heard me say that I was going to make reading vlog on this series. I'm missing the first one because I read it in January, but that I was going to make a reading vlog on this series. So naturally, when I was done with the other two, I picked up this series and I was ready to, start vlogging. Turns out I did not have a lot to say about the books. The second book in the series is Twisted Games. It is about Bridget, or I'm sorry, Princess Bridget and her bodyguard Reese. I did like this story more than I kind of liked Alex and Ava's story. Alex and Ava can sum up in a sentence, and that is, oh my god, bestie, that's a trauma bond. Are you okay? So I did enjoy this one more. I felt like it was more focused on her story than their combined story. He was kind of more like a side plot, which I didn't mind. Yeah, you learned some things about him and you figured shit out, but it was the bare minimum that you kind of needed to know. And I enjoyed it. So it gave me hope for the next one. But I'm not gonna go deep into every single one of these ones because honestly you're gonna understand in a bit. But yeah, Bridget is supposed to only be princess, and princess only. Her brother is supposed to be king. She's very happy about it. It means that she can marry whoever she wants. She can sleep with whoever she wants as long as I think she's supposed to be like the land ambassador in the United States. So she can stay in the States because that's where she meets Ava from the first book, Jules from the third book, and Stella from the fourth book. But then her brother's like, bestie, I met someone and I want to marry this IHOP waitress. So I'm gonna abdicate and you little sister, you're going to become queen. Sorry, not sorry, tag, you're it. And that's the story you follow. You follow her falling in love with a person she cannot marry because her brother has already abdicated, and you follow along on her trying to learn the ropes of a country that she hasn't spent years building the trust of. This one gave me hope for the series. Then you have the next one in the series, which is Twisted Hate. And this one is about Jules and Josh. Josh is Ava's big brother. So it's best friend's brother, or, little sister's best friend, whatever way you want it. Twisted. Oh, yeah. Reese is her bodyguard. Did I say he's her bodyguard? He is her bodyguard, and he does stuff that a bodyguard is not paid to do. Jules and Josh and Jules, they hate each other. It's enemies to lovers, and I really like enemies to lovers because the banter is usually very, very good. They make it clear very early on that Josh doesn't really like Jules. He thinks she's a bad influence on his sister, and he's very protective of his sister. So, when she starts working at the volunteer centre where he volunteers, their paths cross, but they decide to have a truce because they don't want them, real life shit to get in the way of their work, because what they are doing, it is important work. She's studying to be a lawyer, so she's working there as a legal assistant, and he is studying to be a doctor, so he is working there, as a doctor and helping with the consults and stuff like that. So what they are doing is actually very important. I felt like the story they gave Jules was just there to make him morally grey. Because, he's a doctor and he's not a serial killer. He's not doing anything wrong in that field. So she had to do something to make this guy morally grey. Because I think that's kind of, the Twisted series, it's a little bit twisted. The men are supposed to be morally grey. And I felt there were so many other ways they could have done this. I feel like her storyline to make him morally grey could have been way different. I didn't really enjoy it. I think I would enjoy it in a TV series because it sparks something, but in a book, I don't know. I didn't really feel it. I feel like Josh's story, because that's heavily incorporated from the first book, and Ava's story there, that could have been what kind of makes them, go batshit crazy. But no, alas. She needed a new storyline, and Jules, she got robbed. So, but I did enjoy it. Like, this is the book out of the series I would recommend reading. This is the one that I enjoy the most because I enjoy banter. I enjoy when the characters have a little sass, when they banter a lot. You can kind of feel that they like each other, but their words say something different. I like that. So this gave me very, very high hopes for the next one, because that's Twisted Lies, and everybody says this is the best book in the series. Yeah, I hated it. I am so sorry if this is your favorite book ever. This one is about Stella, and it's about Christian. Stella moves into an apartment complex with Jules in the third book that is owned by Christian, and Christian, the only reason they are there, looking at the apartment building, is because Reese used to work for Christian. So Reese is like, hey, I think I have some contacts, let me contact them. Let me see if they have somewhere you guys can move, because they had to move. You kind of meet him a little bit in the third book. And then, it's Stella's and Christian's story in this one. And he does some questionable things. Like, if a man did these things for me, I would also wonder what his motives are. Because Jules moves out, Stella tells him that she can't afford the rent on her own, which is already reduced to barely nothing compared to what they were asking. And he's like, yeah, just water my plants and we're even. What? I'm sorry, what? What? I also, when I met Stella in the other books, I found her to be extremely boring. Very, very, extremely, not in any way, shape or form interesting. I figured, because they keep on telling us that she is on her phone a lot because she works in social media, that, when I got to meet her as a character and I got to know her, that would change. It didn't. I still find her to be completely boring. The main goal of hers in this book is to get 1 million followers on Instagram. And the way she's doing it is by fake dating Christian. You heard it correctly. The way she's doing it is by fake dating Christian. Christian is the CEO of Harper Securities. He does cybersecurity, and something happens, and he ends up not only fake dating Stella, but also trying to help Stella. It's weird. He's supposed to be the most morally grey out of them, and I laughed so hard of some of the stuff he did in this. If you read it, the taco scene made like I stopped reading. I had to put the book down. I could not stop laughing. And one of the things that I kind of realized in The Striker by Anna Huang is that she likes using the same words, and through all of these books, her favorite word is slut. I'm not opposed to using it, but you know, you are allowed to use a new word now and then. You are allowed. I'm giving you permission. I can't really, I don't feel like I can say a lot about the books without spoiling what they actually are about, but I didn't give them a star rating. I know that. So I think this one originally was like a 3.5, and I think I gave this one a 3.75, and then this one came in at like a 2.5. I really didn't like it. It's the thickest one. Like I tried making a reading vlog out of it. I ended up having like 10 minutes on 4 books. I didn't have anything to say about them. Not at all. Not at all. Like the entire series is a no for me. Like it's a no. It's a no. I think I'll give this one like a 3.5 because I did really enjoy it, and this one will get a 3. The first one will also get a 3. This is down to 2 stars. I did not enjoy it. It's okay in a sense, but it was also just no, not my cup of tea, and that's okay. That is okay. I know she is a beloved author, and if you love her books, I'm so happy for you. I really wish I loved her books because I did not enjoy this, and I did not enjoy The Striker. Like I think I also gave The Striker 2 stars after reading this. The Striker is like a 1 star for me. Did not enjoy it at all. So I think this is just not the author for me, sadly. When I was done with the Twisted series, I was like, do you know what I want to do? I want to read some more fantasy. That is what I want to do. So I started this one. This is the Norwegian version, but I did start it. I didn't know it was a brick when I ordered it. I didn't know it was this thick. So I read like a few chapters and I started annotating, and I was like, do you know what? Fuck this shit. I am just gonna listen to it and read it in English, and you know, if I enjoy the series, I'm going to go back, I'm going to read it in Norwegian, and I'm going to annotate it. I got about, I want to say 30%, a little bit over 30% into the book, and I could not get into it. I was like, this is a 900 something pages book. Excuse me, how many pages are, yeah, it's a little bit over 900 pages. So reading 30% of the book is a decent chunk of the book, I feel. I couldn't get into it. I don't know if it's because it's the wrong type of fantasy for me, or I don't really know what. I just felt like nothing was happening. I felt like the story was progressing really slowly, which makes sense because it's a thick ass book and it's book number 1 out of 4. But I also know that the first book I read from Sarah J Maas, which is A Court of Thorn and Roses, I didn't really like that one either. I had a hard time getting through it, but I did really like the 2 next ones. And then I stopped reading the series because, you know, fuck that. But I think that's just her writing style. But I have to be in a different mindset, and I don't think I can read this book while I am in pain like I am now. I feel like I have to be able to focus more than what I have to in a romance book. So this is the one I DNF'd. This is the one that I said, thank you for your service, but we're going to put you to the side and we're going to ride a cowboy instead. Because that's exactly what I did. I read Flawless. I just was like, do you know what I need? I need some more Elsie Silver in my life because I can't wait for the next Rose Hill book. So I just went straight into this one. And I have to say, not my favourite. I know a lot of people say that this is their least favourite. I think this is also like Goodreads' least favourite book out of the series. So I am going to keep on reading the series because there's nothing wrong with the book. It just, I felt like the pacing was a little bit slow. I didn't really, you know, I didn't really get that into it. But hey, next one is A Single Dad, so you probably already know I'm gonna like that one. But yeah, I enjoyed it. This one is about, I think you pronounce his name Reth. Is it Reth? Or am I mixing up? Are you Reth? No. Reth, yeah. I think that's how you pronounce it. And Summer. Reth is a professional bull writer, and Summer is his manager, the daughter of his manager. She works for the managing company. Reth does something that, you know, is scandalous. He gets filmed saying that he doesn't like milk, and his biggest sponsor is a milk brand. So that's unfortunate. So Summer gets assigned technically to babysit him, but she calls it shadowing, to, I don't know, scratch his ego. Don't really know. And you get to follow along with them. So she follows along to his competitions, and she meets his family, and all of the fun stuff. There was also a specific scene in this one at the hospital, if you read the book, that I did not see coming. First of all, I did not see her ex being who her ex was, and then I did not see whatever happens at the hospital actually happen. So the book had a few twists that I did not see coming in a romance book, and the way Ref just, I don't know, wholeheartedly with his whole body wants to protect her. Just make me do the little jiggle you do when you're just so very happy. This is the dude that rides bull for a living, so I wouldn't fuck with him. Rides bulls. He rides angry cows for a living, so I wouldn't argue with him. I wouldn't. I really like this one. I mean, I didn't really like this one. It was okay, but it made me want to read more of the series. So this is like a 3.5 for me. It made me want to read more of the series, so it's a 3.5. It's not her best work, but it's probably not her worst work either. But I am holding it kind of up to the Rosehill series, which is her last series, and I think that's kind of unfair of me as well, because as she writes more, I'm have a feeling your writing will also get better in a way. You will find more your style. But yeah, it made me want to read the next one, so I am now going to read the rest of the Chestnut Spring series at some point. And because I wasn't done with Cowboys, I read Done and Dusted. I needed some more. I needed some more men in flannel shirts in my life. This is the first book in the, is it Blue Ranch series? I think it's called the Blue Ranch series. Does it say? Probably not, because it never does. Does it say the name of the series? No. This one is about Emmy, or Clementine, as her full name is, but she goes by Emmy, and it's about Luke, who I'm guessing his full name is Lucas, but I don't really know how that works. Maybe it's just Luke. Who knows? He is best friends with her brother, and she finds him to be very irritating. Like, she's always been like, oh my god, what are you doing here? Get lost. And he's always been like, shut up. She is actually the writer in this one. She does barrel riding, which I know nothing about. Nothing at all. To the point where I'm not even sure anymore if it's a real sport or if it's a made-up one for the book. Don't really know. Don't really care. But yeah, she has an accident and comes back home because her anxiety is kicking into full gear. She can't get back on the horse. Like, literally can't get back on the horse. Luke sees her, and let's just say his bodily reaction was standing up. He's like, wait, is that my best friend's little sister? What happened here? I want it. That's, man see, man do. So you get to follow along, and you get to see how they become friends and how they share parts of their life together. You also have such a sweet scene where she talks with her dad about him, and the way her dad talks about him and how he is a little bit misunderstood, and you need to remember, like, this is how he grew up and all of that stuff, because she didn't really see it because she didn't hang out with him. It's so sweet. I really, really like this book. It's not a thick book either, but I tried reading it at the same time that I was reading this one. Actually, I read it before this. I can't remember the reading order right now, but I think I read it at the same time I was reading this one. So it took me a while to get through it because I kept on getting stomped by that one. I would devour this in like a day or two. It's very easy to read. The story is so sweet. The way he helps her, the way he sees what she needs, but she also sees what he needs. Emmy has ADHD, so she talks about, being sensitive to certain stuff, or not being able to do certain stuff, or think in a certain way, and he just runs with it. He knows, okay, she doesn't like having the windows down when you drive on the highway because, the noise overstimulates her. He just doesn't take the window down until they're on a dirt road and there's, nothing but the wind outside. That's something that I think in the book, at least I read it as him doing it just because. But for her, it meant a lot. If you get what I mean. Same with her best friend with Teddy. She's like, hey, I know that you don't like this. So just so you know, I've already done this and this. And she doesn't question it. She doesn't make her feel icky for not being quote unquote normal. And I like that. It got portrayed in a way that didn't make it weird, because I feel like often when you meet narrow, spicy people in a book, they get portrayed that they're different, and she's not different. She just has a different perspective and different way she likes to do stuff. So I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this so much. I got a little bit sad when the next book wasn't about Teddy, because I really want to read her story, and I know who her story is with, and I am so excited to see that one. Well, read it. But it is the third book, and I'm definitely going to finish this one as well. Like 1,000% going to finish this series. I like this one better than I liked, what's the name again? Flawless. So this is a 3.75. I feel like this series, I mean, it can go up and down, but I have a feeling it's going to go up for me. It's not giving me the sense that it's like a 5-star read, but it can still change because there's more books in the series. Same with this one. I know this is a lot of people's favorite series of all time. I don't feel that way. I don't feel the way about these as I do of the Windy City series, but they still have time to change my mind with just one book in. But the Windy City series gave it to me after one book. After one book, I was like, I'm hooked. I love all of them. Might have clouded my judgment a little bit, but oh well. But yeah, those were the books that I read no, I have one more. I forgot one, because I listened to it as an audiobook. It's The 2-Week Arrangement by a Kendall something. I can't remember her name. But I listened to it as an audiobook because my friend was like, hey bestie, you need to listen to this. It's single dad. It's your favorite trope of all time. And it's a short book. It's 4.5 hours, but I listened to it at like, a way faster speed. So I think mine was like 2.5 hours at full speed. I was like, I can speed through this in a day. And I had an appointment at the hospital that also happened to go long. Well, no, the appointment didn't go long. The waiting took forever. So I basically was done with the book on my way back. So I listened to the rest of the book while I was driving to my friend that gave me this one. I didn't know there was a part 2. I didn't check. Thought that this was just a novella and it was supposed to be like super sweet and short. But no. It literally ends on a cliffhanger, like an episode of a series. So I don't really know if I want to rate it right now. I might add it into because I am listening to the second part of it, and I did check that's the last one. I did check that it's not, gonna keep on going for like forever. I am enjoying it. I am having fun. I love the audiobook. Jacob Morgan has the male voice. I enjoy Jacob Morgan, so sometimes I just listen to Jacob Morgan, but I do not listen to the words he says, if that makes sense. I'm having fun with it. But if I have to give it like a rating right now, it's probably like a 3.25. It's fun, but it's not out there. Is it a little bit questionable? Yes, but isn't it always? I didn't tell you what the book is about. It's called a 2-Week Arrangement. I said that right. It's about Dominic and what is her name? I want to say Penelope. No, Presley, because they keep on calling her Persley. I think her name is Presley. She is an intern at his office and she gets assigned to him as her mentor. She's very efficient, like she goes through the paperwork, she does everything she has to. He needs someone on his arm to woo a client, so he hires her to, I don't know, be an escort, be his date, be whatever he needs for the night being. And the investor or the dude that he's going to go into partnership with, whatever it's called, he really likes her. So he's like, hey, we're gonna do a weekend. Bring her, bring the girl. And he's like, oh fuck. But he does, and she agrees to go. So there's a lot of entanglements. He is a single dad, like I said. He has twin girls, he has twin toddlers. There's a lot of stuff. At some point I went, oh my god, what is happening? And that should have been my first thing, because there's only 2 chapters left of this book, so this is gonna go very rapidly. But no, it didn't go very rapidly because there was a second part. But I did enjoy it. I did have fun. 3.25. Might go up, might go down when I finish the book, because it ended like a freaking TV series. But yeah, those are the 9 books that I read, or 8 books and the DNF that I had in February. I am hoping that March is going to be a good reading month and my pain will go away after my operation, but Who knows? Hopefully I get to sleep. So maybe I hope that March isn't as good of a reading month. Thank you guys so much for spending some of your precious time with me. I really, really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye bye.